To start, you will need to update your Klipper firmware if you haven't done so recently. The easiest way to do so would be through your main cell or fluid web interface. In main cell, you will need to navigate to Machine tab, and on the right there should be Update button next to Klipper. If you're using Fluid, you will need to go to Settings tab, then click Software Updates, and on the right here click Update button next to Klipper, same as before. After you successfully updated your firmware, you will need to open Moonraker config, which will be located under Machine tab in main cell or under Configuration tab if you're using Fluid. Here we will need to simply add the following two lines. Then we save and close the file. After that, open printer config and add exclude object module somewhere on the top here. Then we save and close once again. Now we are done with configuration on Klipper side, but the last question is how do we actually start our adaptive bed mesh before each print? It may be a bit different in your particular situation, but you most likely had the following command that basically told your printer to load your previously made mesh before the start of each print. But since we'll be making a new adaptive mesh before the start of each print, you will need to replace this command with bed mesh calibrate adaptive equals 1 in your start G-code settings. If you're using Prusa Slicer, you can find your start G-code by pressing Window, Printer Settings tab. Here navigate to Custom G-code, and in the Start G-code section replace bed mesh profile load equals default with bed mesh calibrate adaptive equals 1, as I said before. If you prefer using Prusa Slicer, you can find your Start G-code by pressing Edit Preset button next to your printer preset. Then go to Machine G-code tab and simply repeat the same thing we did before. And in Cura, press Settings, Printer, Manage Printers, and then click Machine Settings next to your printer preset. And once again, just replace the command. After you've done it, the last thing that you need to do is to make sure that label object is enabled in your slicer. For Prusa Slicer, navigate to Print Settings, Output Options, and here under Label Objects choose Firmware Specific. In Orca Slicer, you can find this option in Others tab under G-code Output. And if you're using Cura, as far as I know, it is enabled by default, so you don't need to do anything. Now we are finally done. You can now reslice the model you want to print and test it out yourself. It is possible that your Z offset will be too high after configuring adaptive bed meshing, so you may need to recalibrate it. Just be aware of that. But other than that, that's it. I hope the video was helpful and see you on the next one.